Again, I have to believe that she's still antimatter, and this chamber is antimatter, and she's being shielded from the rest of the planet so that she doesn't blow it up. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back with another episode of Space Battleship Yamato 2. We come back as we normally do with notes and comments. Not a board, though, because I don't think anything has appreciably changed. I do have a note about the possibility of a board change, but I have no visualization to represent it yet, so the board link down below will still be to the same one as it was last time. That said, let me go ahead and do that board changelog note that I literally just mentioned. I'm not sure if I should make any changes of lines connecting Sabera to Genitz. Genitz, yeah, that's his name, sorry. Let me make sure I wrote that down right. Because there seems to be something going on there, but I don't know if Sabera is just manipulating him or if he's interested. I'm just not sure. So, until that is further defined, I'm leaving it as is. That said, though, on to notes. I feel like the Hollow Planet thing is going to be a plot point at some point. Like, someone's been mining these... Sorry, I don't know what's up in my throat. Like, someone's been mining these planets of all of their useful metals or something. Maybe it's just a matter of Gamlis and Iskander being so old that they did it to themselves and just didn't explain it. That Terasart, sorry, is going to be the same way. Old civilization that ran itself dry, or, third season, new threat to be set up early. By the way, how unhelpful are Teresa's instructions? I live in a cave at the end of an underground city. This is a planet we're talking about. Find an underground city and a hollowed-out planet-sized object, then find a cave at the end of the city-sized hollow underground. Hope you aren't in a hurry. The Space Cavalier ship looks familiar for some reason. I wonder if the Jeeble from Mobile Suit Gundam was inspired by it or something. Pretty good effect on the Dead Civilization visuals. Way better than whatever was going on with Planet 11. I think it looks like a mirror to the early days of Earth's bombardment by Gamlis in the flashbacks of the first season. Either way, one of the rare good additions to the movie's content. I don't think I've mentioned it before, but I do really enjoy the pipe organ soundtrack when we turn our attention back to the Comet Empire. While I dislike Sabera manipulating events around Dessler, as it's basically a new bad guy seeking to take out my bad guy, I do like the introduction of actual political machinations. It raises the level of the story above just good fighting bad or invader and victim. Now there's actually intrigue, and that's a step up for the writer's room. Giant garden area is dumb for the same reason I mentioned in the reaction. We've mentioned how important food is before, despite never actually running out on either journey so far. But to be concerned about the space cavalry eating up the hydroponics area, and then all of this wasted space on flowers, it's pretty dumb. I understand that they might be doing something like, sorry, I can't remember the word now. When you use plant areas to recycle the air on your ship, what? I keep mentioning that Eon is one of my favorite books. I've mentioned it across shows on the channel before, and that's what they do in the asteroid. They've got a whole chamber, massive, massive chamber, specifically for plants, just to recycle the air and the water and whatnot. That doesn't seem like what's happening here, and if it was, why is she fucking picking them, right? No clue why they think these people must be more advanced than us. They built a large underground city? So have we. In fact, living underground was forced on us, and we recently came out of it. It wasn't a sign of our advancement, it was something we just had to do. This thing happened in the past that we have no way of telling when. Shame we don't have anything that could help us figure that out. Some sort of radar system specifically designed to peer back into the past with video? Like the video we're currently watching? What am I talking about? That'd be crazy. Looks like Mars before it's terraforming. What are you talking about, Saito? It looks like Mars at the start of the first season, aka 2 years ago, basically. Unless they're indicating that they terraformed Mars in that same year that they did all their other miracle work, then I guess, whatever. Anyway, on to comments, of course, from Kellen Winslow. Voltes 5, I was actually using that in one of the Super Robot Wars games recently. Some of the stuff in the show is a bit similar, as you pointed out. Star Trek Fleet Battles. I remember that game. FOSSA took it over, and it became Star Trek Starship Tactical Simulator, which they then incorporated into their pen and paper RPG. Or FOSSA did a version of it, would be more accurate to say. We used to play it all the time, just picking ships and setting up scenarios to see what would happen. It is still a pretty involved system. The only thing that comes close now is Star Trek Frontiers board game, which plays like Mage Knight. You'd probably like it. I did correct you on this in the comment section itself. I don't know what game you're talking about, probably. Well, you also said you're talking about Star Trek Fleet Battles, whereas I'm talking about Starfleet Battles, SFB, which was, I think, created by Task Force Games of Amarillo, Texas, which then became, sorry, Task Force Games actually shut down at some point, I think early 2000s maybe. And then the same guy who made Task Force Games also created Amarillo Design Bureau, which is now the publisher of that. They also make my other favorite tabletop war game of that type called Starfire, which instead of having the ISD sheets, which I don't think I remembered before when I was talking about Starfleet Battles uses ISD sheets, which is the box thing. Starfire just uses letters. So your ship is like a sentence or a word, which is to say, S is for shields, A for armor, L for lasers, I for impulse, that sort of thing. So your ship is probably like SSS, AA, L, L, I. And you can move as many I's as you have. I think there's missiles too, so maybe you have like an M and an L, and missiles deal extra damage to armor, lasers deal extra damage to shields or something like that. It's very simple. Lasers just roll with one die, missiles roll with another die. Um, it's a very simple system because the idea is that Task Force Games originally made their money on pocket editions, right? You'd get like a little baggie of little pieces for your board. You would have a literally a rules book small enough that you could fit into your pocket, and then you just take that and go with whatever you're going to do. So Starfire is a very simple rule set. I don't imagine how Starfleet Battles started off as a very simple rule set, considering I used to own Captain's Edition, which is the second edition of that. And that has rules that would make a lawyer weep, so I don't know. Anyway, as I said, clarification. You know, sometimes I forget that Sonata is a cyborg. He basically is the $6 million man. He should be more capable than a normal human. Although we haven't been told exactly what he can and can't do. Maybe he's like Bato from Ghost in the Shell. I mean, maybe he's like a lot of people from Ghost in the Shell. The thing is that Sonata had exploding limbs. That's the only thing we knew before. And we weren't told anything about any replacements. He's just wandering around now, sight unseen for this stuff. The wave motion gun does seem to be weaker at times, more powerful at others. It's inconsistent at times. It reminds me of the main gun that the Macross uses in the original show. Frankly, it should be almost able to destroy planets or really mess them up, but it's whatever they need at the moment, I guess. I mean, you saying it's weaker at some points and stronger at others? It's not stronger. It's only weaker. Again, it destroyed a continent floating in Jupiter before, and then has never been as strong ever again. It's only been weaker, in my estimation. You're right about the show changing one thing for sure, and that's the ending. It has to be different if there is another series or movies, although movies could be just about anything. Even in the far future, if they wanted to. I'm not incredibly familiar with everything after this series, so I'll be seeing some of it for the first time along with you. Sorry, for a moment there, I thought you meant the ending as on the credits, which is like, why are they showing us a Teresa that's naked like in the movies when this Teresa is wearing clothes? I thought that's what you were going to go on about. Yeah, I mean, I assume, unless for some reason the Andromeda survives this show, and season 3 is about the Andromeda and crew. I forgot about the fact that what was actually inside the Comet Empire was a secret until the end of the film. I agree that they should have kept that a secret for the show. It makes it a bit more dramatic. I mean, I only disagree with you now after I had that note about the what do you call it, political drama that's going on with Sabera and Gens versus Dessler. The infighting amongst the bad guys that is more political than just out and out fighting. I appreciate that it adds something that was missing from the movie. It adds something that was missing from season one. Well, I guess it wasn't missing from season one. Every base commander seemed to have a little political play with somebody. Anyway, I like where this is going, and I don't think we could see that unless they revealed something about the Comet Empire like they did. The music at times is great. The main theme and others still hold up. I can see what they still use them in the remake. Some other tracks, though, like when they fight the tanks, are not so great. I would say it's the time it was made, but great music existed then. Jerry Goldsmith, etc. So I don't know. It's fine for what it is, I guess. I mean, I literally just mentioned the pipe organ sound for the when the Comet Empire shows up. I love that. That's still pretty good. The destruction on Teresa's planet is a nice touch. It makes you think, and she's wearing a dress. Great, lol. But what is the power they keep talking about? It's clearly something we didn't see in the film. Yeah, I mean, I literally just brought up the whole dress thing too. And I did bring up the destruction on the planet in my notes. The power we're talking about, I mean, you're saying it's something we didn't see in the film. There is the power she had at the very end, where she was just made of antimatter, so she just ran up on something and helped destroy the thing, presumably, with Kodai, considering they just kind of vanish into the distance and then there's an explosion later. But yeah, I mean, the one side, Comet Empire people not afraid to mess with her. At the same time, they also say, don't make her angry. So, kind of mixed messaging. I don't know what the hell's going on there. And Yuki picking flowers for Teresa. I appreciate the thought, but there should be no flowers growing in there. Should be used for food. Just like on the Macross, every inch should be what would be needed for something useful. Carrots or potatoes or something. Maybe a little pot for flowers, sure, but that was a pretty big area. I mean, I agree. I already gave my thoughts on that in my notes. And finally, we get interesting contrasts between new scenes created for the show. The Rookie and Analyzer together, great, just what I wanted. I laughed pretty hard when you commented on that. You'll be so happy when you see how much better Analyzer is in 2199. He's actually more useful and not pervy, thank God. Yeah, I mean, literally, I didn't write a note about that, but apparently I must have commented on it in the reaction last time. I did not like that. Legitimately, the two characters that are the most annoying right now. The Doctor used to be annoying, when he got drunk, floated through space, was pouring sake through the top of his helmet. Now the Doctor is like the center of the morals on the ship, and people go to him for advice, and it's like, great, that character evolved. Analyzer got stupider. And then we introduced another stupid character. Then we get Saito and his men being useful for once, and I almost kind of liked them for a second. Then they stole food supplies. Come on. Plus, they were completely unprepared for the fight. They didn't even use their grenades. Maybe they will be less prominent now that a bunch of them died. I mean, we're not done with the fight yet, so. And yeah, I mean, all my expectations are is Saito is going to do the same thing he did at the end of the movie, which is form a wall and get shot to death. But I fully agree with you that the best new thing so far is the extra intrigue in the Comet Empire. I actually don't think the Emperor was so easily manipulated, but let's see if they take in an interesting direction. I'm all for anything that has to do with developing Dessler at this point. I really hope he gets the better of those trying to string him along. I mean, obviously, I gotta support the guy. He's my guy, right? Like I keep telling Lessons when it turns out that I'm supporting the bad guys. It's basically a sports team for me at this point. I'm rooting for them no matter what. Hope the heat doesn't get you down, Theta. It actually got nearly 70 here in Wisconsin, but it's going down into the 30s and 20s again this week, so that's fun. I do prefer 60 to 65 myself, but I understand if you like it a bit cooler. Take it easy. I mean, it's perfectly reasonable right now. Sorry, my throat. Perfectly reasonable right now. It is getting dry. That is a problem, but I'm not sweating up like I was recently. I actually got a thing for the window to try and, I guess, pump in hot air. It's not an air conditioner, so it's literally just going to be pumping in hot air into the room, but it's supposed to get cooler around here too, so hopefully there's that. Anyway, I apologize for misreading most of your comment. For some reason, my brain just has turned itself off the moment I started to record today. That, and if you notice me jumping around a lot, it's because I'm doing cuts, because I guess the pollen is getting to me too. So every so often I'm like sneezing and blowing my nose between every shot, so it's just like, all right, quick pause here. I'll just edit this out. Anyway, that is the comments, that is the notes, that is the brief stint about the board. So let's go ahead and hop on in and see what we get from this episode.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
Uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
it's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
there's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I'll be honest with you. If I were of the mindset, I would probably start skipping the intros. But I understand a number of people who watch this on YouTube are of the kind that will start the video when I start the video to try and keep our videos in line. So if I started cutting out the opening, I would be screwing with those people. Because otherwise, they're not adding anything to the intro. The opening is the same opening that it's been for a while now. Which again, I'm not shitting on them for that. That's of the era. But the element is they didn't even change the opening song, which I know we just had a whole comment section that involved Kellen Winslow pointing out that the song is still good. Is the song still good? Yes. Does it have anything to do with this season? No. I mean, not unless we go to Teresa. Unless we go to Teresa, and then from there we go to Iskander just to make the opening song fit. Then I don't know, it just doesn't fit anymore. Yeah, according to Sabera, she's just been sending warnings. Yeah, and that aircraft got destroyed. You say it's highly advanced, based on what? All I know from this is that they invented concrete. There's that pipe organ. Like, there's no reason, by the way. She just doesn't like Dessler. So there's no reason for her to stop his revenge on Yamato. He's using his own ships. I also gotta wonder if they use the tanks here as inspiration for the Earth Federation tanks that we see later in the Universal Century. Gundam, I meant. Here's the thing, this is like watching Star Trek Voyager. We don't really know how many crew members there are. We never really got a count on how many of these guys there were. So we can kill as many of them as we want, and we'll never know. No worries, man, you're a main character. They'll never shoot this very specific section of the line. Why are we fucking setting up those missiles then if you're just gonna kill yourselves? Conversely, you could have been doing this shit the entire time instead of getting your asses blown off. Cool, love that scene when I saw it in Starship Troopers. Hey, you guys at home who are watching this with me, I want you to count how many Cavaliers we've watched get killed. How many Cavaliers have you watched get killed, and then how many Cavaliers have you seen doing these things? Just to, 'cause I feel like they're going to indicate there's 100 Cavaliers that were on that transport. That transport was a clown car of Cavaliers. Did not see Analyzer get off of that thing. They must be printing these shuttles as the need arises, like right now. Because we've seen the launch bay. There's been no shuttles in it before. Not really the time, Yuki. Imagine how much more rougher this would be if, I don't know, there's a whole fleet of Gamless people in orbit trying to fight the Yamato right now. Again, I have to believe that she's still antimatter, and this chamber is antimatter, and she's being shielded from the rest of the planet so that she doesn't blow it up. It's legitimately an infinite number of tanks versus an infinite number of Cavaliers. Yeah, I mean, thank God they never targeted this position and fired. I guess also thank God that the one you hijacked is faster than the rest of them. Remember when the sci-fi people had better armor than we could even shoot at? Then when we fired on Gambless ships, we couldn't even puncture their hulls? Well, we know they have a base. Let me guess, Teresa is going to see this on her monitor. Well, thank God we handled that concern that people might need surgery. Also, I feel like they just added the bit about this all being underground because the sky very clearly looks like a sky. I also want to say this is like Bionicle. Or Bionicle is just filled with underground caverns that have skies. Looks like our general here learned how to fire from a Battlefield game. Well, that's certainly a change for the board. Meanwhile, Dessler waiting in the throne room, I guess. Or is Sabera actually going to go meet him for once? Sabera and Gentz.
何事だ。ザバイバルの戦車軍団がヤマトの上陸部隊に苦戦。ほとんど壊滅状態です。何？デスラーが撤退しなければこんなことには。ザバイバルを見殺しにしたというわけか。
Are we like not telling him that Dessler's in the throne room waiting?
デスラーにはそれができたはずです。
所詮その程度の男だったのか。
なぜ大抵は来られないのだ。
大抵はご多忙のみです。
では改めて伺おう。私も決して暇な身ではないのでね。
お待ちなさい、デスラ。話も聞こうとせず失礼ではありませんか。
私に話があると言えるのはこの帝国で大抵の他に。
Yeah, I mean, president to president, basically.
なぜ帝国へ召喚されたのか聞きたくはないのか。
ゲーニッツ君、聞いてどうなるのかね。私はヤマトとの戦闘の続行を大抵にお願いに来たのだ。召喚されたとは思っていない。
我々はあと一歩でヤマトを打ち破るところだったのです。
ですら、あなたの戦術は我が帝国の大戦略から見て
Cool, fuck off.
誰？
もちろん大抵です。
それはおかしい。私は大抵の許可を得て出撃したのだ。一度下した決断を軽々しく覆すような大抵ではないはず。
情勢の変化ということもある。
Yeah, are you guys willing to insult the Emperor?
変わっていない。当初の作戦通り戦っても一向に差し支えない。
テレサを無用に刺激して我が帝国の進路を妨害されたりしたら大変です。何がおかしいのです。
とうとう本音を吐かれたな、サーベラー長官。それこそ女の朝知恵。
何ですって。
大抵はテレサの存在など意に介していない。私に戦闘中止命令を出したのは。
Well, there we go. I don't know what the weird the dog barking echo is in the background of the scene, though.
姿を見せないと思った。いや、恐れ入った次第。
どこへ行くのです、デスラー。
知れたこと、戦場へ帰るのだ。
その男を捕らえなさい。
Yeah, that's what I thought was about to happen.
デスラー、あなたは我が帝国にとって危険人物です。逮捕します。
触るな。相当。
I thought he was just actually gonna keep walking, ignoring them or something.
どこへ行けばいいのだね。
相当、私もお供します。
タラ、うろたえてもどうにもなるまい。
It's weird that they wouldn't arrest Talon too, since he's here.
いつか大抵と会える時が来る。それまで留守を頼むぞ。
I really like the development that Talon has gotten alongside as well. He just kind of went like a background character who was with Dessler to somebody that we have to actually rely on. Okay, I thought we were gonna get internal monologue or something.
私の思った通りでした。
I'm hoping the Emperor is just as savvy as Dessler was, that he's just faking believing. Again, I'm hoping he's faking this.
間もなくテレザート星の空間を通過する頃です。大抵のご意向を恐れてテレサも無駄な悪あがきはしないでしょう。分かりきったことだ。あとはただ
I mean, it's because it's probably your people that destroyed Teresa. Teresart. I'm not a fan of this, but I guess this sets up later not to have Dessler die in a space combat, but in fact to be there when they try and infiltrate the Comet Empire ship. It's a fucking planet, Teresa. Quick, scan the planet for the second crag. Again, I can't wait for her to be antimatter again. Again, antimatter can never touch him. That's what I'm hoping for. Because I don't like how he's shown up Aihara this whole time. Again, the second crag. What direction? I know they just pointed out a crag earlier, but... to the north? To the west? South? East? Where? It's weird that they show the guys on the beds getting operated on or, getting medical attention, smiling. But again, maybe that's the painkiller. Oh, wow. See, the Doctor is really developing as a character. By the end of the series, he is going to be the most well-rounded individual, I think. Didn't warn you about this, did she? Pretty gruesome. You can imagine he got crushed by a rock, so his guts are probably coming out of his mouth and ass. Again, she said she was in the cave. She has to know all these other guys are here. Thankfully, we're handling this in classic animation rules. Just look for the bits that are different colored than the rest of the background shot, because we plan to animate them.
扉です。ここはコントロールセンターだな。開けるメカがあるはずだ。
Well, what a simple locking device this turned out to be. I guess no concern that this atmosphere might be poisonous, radioactive, or whatever. Let's just walk in with our masks up. Again, very similar to the movie where it was just a glowing sphere. Just isolated in the middle of a chamber, because again, I'm going to guess antimatter. I guess Shima couldn't run out fast enough. Otherwise, he would have been here for the combat. Kind of hate how her viewport's out like a weird angle. Trip and fall into the water. Yeah, because it also implies that you carry flowers with you, which means you appreciate beauty, whatever. I mean, I could get behind it if not for the fact that they're wasting space on the ship for those flowers. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not antimatter. Otherwise, she wouldn't be inviting them over. Unless Shima is about to run up, be the first one on board, touch it, and fucking explode. Which would be both horrible and a comedic point, I feel like. Well, the fleet hasn't. Talon could wander off and do whatever. Technically, they're passing by close to here. They'll be in spitting distance of Yamato pretty soon. Again, it has to be Shima. I would fucking hate it if they're gonna pull the beginning of love and it's because Kodai showed her the flowers and they're gonna do this weird drama bullshit where Teresa falls in love with Kodai and then we have a Yuki jealousy arc. Granted, that's stupid for me because I come from the future of so many stupid storylines like that. For that again would be an evolution of the writer's room. You know, like when we went to Iskander, and the dude was like, I don't want to go back to Earth. This is all going to be horrible. Let's just live on Iskander, and he tried to kidnap Yuki. Again, evolution of storylines, because that's not something we would have anticipated. And not for nothing, we still don't know that she's not antimatter. Why is she naked? The glow might be a shield that she has to keep herself separate from everyone. Or, again, the element in the next time on there, we didn't see her touching anyone, or even anyone in the same scene as her. Still weird if she is antimatter that she would bring anyone up there to see her face to face. Yeah. I'm hoping that the Emperor isn't as dumb as they're making him look. Because it seemed like they were saying, like, he's, like, not a match for Dessler, like, equivalent intellects, right? And that Dessler understands that's not how the Emperor would act. I got you. I know how this is working. And then the Emperor is like, I could never trust that guy. The element that Dessler is like, I understand him perfectly, and he understands me. And the Emperor is like, I never understood that guy. I just don't like that weird back and forth. I'm hoping that the Emperor understands what's going on, and it's just playing Sabera to see where it goes. Because the element is that Dessler doesn't seem to be in a great hurry, other than the fact of lamenting the fact that he could have destroyed the Yamato had he not got pulled back. But to be fair, Dessler is also the reason why the Yamato is not destroyed. Because you remember back when Domel could have destroyed the Yamato, and legitimately the same position that Dessler's in now, somebody was on Domel's ship calling him in, and then Dessler called him off, so the Yamato could have been handled a long time ago. Other than that, the ground combat was whatever it was. It was a clown car of a transport, and all of those people fit into it. I legitimately just don't have that much to talk about here. I appreciated the Comet Empire scenes, the betrayal of Dessler, the subterfuge manipulation that's going on with the Emperor and with Sabera. But other than that, the stuff that the Yamato's up to right now, I could not give a shit. Like, can we just get past the Teresa thing? Because it doesn't seem like she's giving us anything. She gave us a warning, and it seems like that warning comes from the fact that the Comet Empire did this to her planet. Cool. But she's not like Iskander, where they have something valuable to give us, or, we don't have to be here. The warning was enough, and now I feel like we're going to do a Shima-Teresa romance storyline, and what do I care about that? I'm still upset that Shima keeps taking Aihara off of the communications. That's his job. I don't even remember what Shima's job is anymore. He shows up at communications so much, I think it's his job. Anyway, I think that's it. Again, I know I don't have that much commentary in the post here, but it's just like 2 groupings of storylines, and I don't care that much about one of them. So, unfortunately, I think that's going to be it. So, with all of that said, once again, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you again next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?